Hey everyone, how are you? It's Makeda Valletta. I am live on IG and YouTube. So I'm on my YouTube page at the Renaissance Amazon, and I'm on my IG page. Hope all of you are doing well today. I am here in sunny Baton Rouge. Um, Anyhow, I just wanted to do a quick video. There's a few things I want to talk about today, but I'm sure everybody is following this whole Jussie Smollett thing, and I just wanted to weigh in my 2 cents because I am really sick of seeing, and it's mostly, I think, Black women who I see writing things in defense of Jussie Smollett. Like, oh, poor him, or he still needs our prayers, or he still needs our support, or whatever. The way I feel about it is fuck him, okay? I have absolutely no sympathy for him, not even a little bit. Okay, and the stupid look on his face gets on my nerves because, first of all, there's so many things that's so damaging about it. And I saw a woman say, "Oh, R. Kelly's able to piss on girls in Chicago, but he's not in jail, but Jussie Smollett is." To me, that's a bad comparison and analogy. And independent of what anybody else is doing, he deserves to get in trouble. Anybody who brings false charges, I think that women who lie about rape should get in trouble when they know that they're lying about it. But the problem is, I remember when I first heard about this thing, like, first of all, the only thing people hear about Chicago is bad, okay? A lot of you know that I'm from New York, but I moved to Chicago 2 years ago. It's a beautiful city. Yes, shit happens in Chicago. Yes, it has its dangerous parts. But Chicago also has a lot about it that's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the world's best cities, It's the third biggest city. It's a major city in the United States. And all people hear about it is a negative. So when that case came out, I remember my dad calling me. My dad's always concerned about my safety. And of course, you say moving to Chicago, people always think, oh, something bad might happen to you, And so my dad was always warning me about the white people in Chicago. Like, be careful, especially when Trump took office. I remember when Trump took office, I remember in 2016, one of my very dear friends in Chicago, he's been like a best friend of mine for 10 years. He was attacked, okay? In the end of 2016, in Chicago, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon at a light in a Hispanic neighborhood, and it was a white Hispanic man who attacked him while his 80-something-year-old mother was in the car. He got into a fight with this guy who hit his car on purpose. And the man got out the car and went to his mother's window and tried to hit the window. So my friend got out the car and to fight this guy, and the guy hit him in the face in the jaw with a brass knuckle and broke his jaw in 3 places. Now, this is in an intersection at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And when that happened, the way the police handled it was disgusting. They said they couldn't find a video of anything. They couldn't find any witnesses, but it's right in broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon. And I remember thinking, like, that's crazy. Like, how could they not have any, he was on the news and everything. And so because I knew, and I remember being shocked at the story that happened to my friend. And I remember when I was visiting him in the hospital in Chicago in 2016, this is before I moved to Chicago. And I remember I was in the hospital room and my dad called me to tell me, because at the time, that's when Trump had just won. And at the time, there was like white men rolling up to Black women, and this was like happening in different places where they're rolling up to Black women at gas stations and talking shit. So my dad was trying to warn me, and he was saying, be careful in those white areas in Chicago because, Chicago does have a racist history. But I had been saying to him, I haven't had a problem with the white people in Chicago. Like, since I've been in Chicago, it's all good. Like, I don't have, just like growing up in New York, I never had a problem with white people in New York. Like, when I was a kid, there's certain parts of Brooklyn that you couldn't go to if you were Black, but I'm not from Brooklyn. But, like, if you were Black, you couldn't go to Bay Ridge and Bensonhurst because Italians would try to kill your ass, and then Blacks and Jews in Crown Heights used to fight like crazy when I was a kid. But other than that, the situations in Brooklyn, that wasn't my experience in New York dealing with white people. They were always cool. And my experience in Chicago has been the same thing, And so when my dad called me with the Jussie Smollett thing, and he's like, oh my God, did you hear what happened? Like, it just kind of fed into what he kept trying to tell me. It's like, be careful in Chicago around these white people because blah, 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 blah. And he's all, and from the very beginning, I thought that it sounded weird because I'm like, okay, they attacked him because he said something about Trump. Like, white people don't know who he is. He's not that famous. He's not that famous, and he's not that important. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, how is anybody How are they going to recognize him? You know, and who's walking around with a noose? Like, who's just walking down the street holding a noose? They're walking down the street holding a noose, looking for him, or just looking for any random black person? Because it seemed like he was saying that they attacked him because it was him. And then, not to be funny, but most of the time when I see black people being attacked for some racial shit or being shot by the police, they're usually a dark-skinned black person. They're usually not like a super light black person. You know, that's just the case, you know? And then how can somebody tell that he's gay? Because he was trying to act like it's because he's gay and he's black. Like, walking down the street, you look like a regular light-skinned dude. Nobody could tell that you're gay or whatever. And to me, I never cared, really. I remember when it happened and everybody was coming up in my news feed and my original feeling was shit happens. Like, I just thought that he might have got attacked just because he was a random person. I didn't think it was because he was black, gay, or because he was who he was. But then it's like, how dumb can you be? You know, how dumb can you be to make up such a horrible lie? Like, it's bad enough to make up that lie. But then you hire 2 black-ass Nigerians, okay? 2 big, dark-skinned Nigerians. Like, you didn't even try to, like, get some, maybe you couldn't get white people, but you didn't even try to go get some light-skinned people that could have maybe passed white. I mean, their skin might look a little white on the cameras. And the fact that the Chicago police, you know, found them just from a video, could find that, you know, who these people were and found them and all that is amazing detective work, which is a waste of resources, because we all know that there's people getting killed in Chicago every day. There's people being killed around the country every day that people act like they can't figure out who did it and they can't find out who did it, you know. And for him to say that about Chicago, because I feel like I said, Chicago gets an unfair rap, you know, like, it is a really beautiful city. I don't know anyone that has been there that doesn't like it. I feel like as long as you stay out of the hood, you're good. You know, Chicago is a very beautiful city. Parts of it, you know, a lot of it. And so that just gave a whole bad image to the city. You know, when you have somebody that's famous who's saying that they were attacked in that way downtown. Streeterville is a money area. You know what I'm saying? So that's not supposed to happen. He wasn't walking in some place in a dangerous area. And to try to garner all this sympathy and then go on TV and do interviews and tell people, oh, he fought back and nobody broke his ribs and all this dumb shit. Like, I feel like slapping him. First of all, it's just, there's so many things wrong with it that, like, to me, there's no good excuse. So when people, and again, it's been black women who I've heard say, oh, well, there was some reason and I'm still team Jussie and blah, 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 blah. Or I've seen people say, oh, he deserves a second chance. No, he doesn't. He deserves to be shamed and embarrassed for the rest of his life. And I'm sure he will be. And it also speaks to the fact that people these days don't fact check. People be believing anything they see on the internet. And I wanted to do a video about that, about critical thinking skills and fact checking, you know, because people don't think critically. And what was I about to say? There was something else I was about to say about it. He just makes it bad. Not only did he, you know, was he trying to shit on Chicago, Chicago's reputation, but also for all the black people who like to bring a noose into the situation, which is something that is sensitive for black people, you know. And there's already a lot of white people who don't believe that, you know, racism is real. They don't believe that, you know, the things that happen to us is real. They think we're exaggerating. He just gives ammunition for that. You know, he just gives ammunition to people who just already are dismissing it. And so now it's just like I just can't think of, and then the fact that he wrote himself a false letter. Like, to me, he definitely deserves to get in trouble. I don't feel sorry for him at all. I don't think that anybody deserves to have sympathy on him. And one thing I think is that, and then you have some black people just want to defend every black person. Every black person's a victim. No, every black person is not a victim. He's definitely not a victim. And there was no reason for him to do that, you know? It's just like when the riots were happening in Baltimore because of the kid that got killed by the police, and you had police from surrounding areas in Maryland coming to make sure these people didn't burn down Baltimore. But the problem with that is that now the people who were in those towns that those police came from might have a real problem. And if somebody calls the police with a real problem, there's no police to help them because they're over here in Baltimore trying to make sure that these idiots don't burn the city down. You know? And to me, I don't like shit like that because it's like when somebody has a real crisis, now the resources are over here being wasted on something that shouldn't be wasted on. And like, to me, he shamed his whole family. And to say that, oh, he's an activist, his mother was a Black Panther, I don't know. I know I come from an activism family. My mom's a union organizer. My mom is still an activist. My dad was involved in the civil rights movement. He was involved in an organization that put the Black Panthers together. He wasn't a Black Panther, though. I always say that he's part of the organization that put the Black Panthers, strategically put them together. And they actually started off in Alabama registering people to vote. But towards the end of the Black Panthers, there was a lot of issues with them. So Jussie Smollett calls himself the gay Tupac, but possibly he is, because I don't regard Tupac highly. A lot of people look at Tupac like he was some kind of prophet or some really smart person. I think Tupac had horrible judgment. All of Tupac's decisions from what I knew about him till he died, it was bad judgment. Tupac talked too damn much, and he was fake. Because he acted like he was from the West Coast, but he wasn't. He's from the East Coast. He's from Baltimore. He's an East Coast person. Now all of a sudden you move to LA. Like, I moved to Chicago, but I'm still a New Yorker. You know, like, I could be in Chicago for the next 10 years. I'm still going to be a New Yorker. You know, like, so if you move to LA, now you act like you are West Coast and yada, 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 hanging with the wrong people. Like, Tupac wasn't a thug, but then you want to sign with Death Row and Suge Knight. All that was stupid decisions. And I remember in an interview hearing Tupac say, years ago, that after he got shot in New York, that he never thought another black man would shoot him. What kind of dumb thinking is that? Like, Black people are shooting each other in Baltimore. Black people were shooting each other in LA. Black people are shooting each other in every city. So how do you think that a Black man would never shoot you? Like, that right there says that you have bad judgment. You know, but again, Tupac's mom was also a Black Panther towards the tail end of it, just like Jussie Smollett's mom. So they have those things in common, right? But I don't even know what he meant by saying he's a gay Tupac. Anyway, what does that even mean? You know, I don't even understand what that means. Like, you're not a rapper, you know. Jussie Smollett apparently was getting $1 million an episode, you know, and then he had a record label. Like, I just hate, like, just the thought of his little silly face and his little, like, trying to look all pathetic and get people to feel sorry for him. And that's exactly the reason why I don't fuck with actors. No offense to the actors of the world, but I think actors are all crazy. I do. I think maybe 1% or maybe 0.05% of them are not crazy. I think a lot of actors are nuts. And I think that they always are trying to get into roles, and they try to mix that drama of their roles into their real life. And I just can't deal with it. You know, like, you don't ever know when they're telling the truth or what they're up to. But I just wanted to say, I'm not going to talk about this too much. I just wanted to say that I think he deserves every punishment he gets. I don't care what it is, he deserves it. He is an embarrassment to Black people and to the LGBTQ community, if you want to say that. I mean, I'm a bisexual woman. I don't really care about that, you know, in him with that shit. Like, I don't. And I never thought that anybody would try to attack him because he was gay. Like, it's just disgusting. And I think that and also another last thing I wanted to say was that I remember when this first came out, I never posted anything about it. I never jumped on that bandwagon. But I remember people posting things saying that Black men weren't standing up for him enough. They were criticizing Black men. And they were saying that Black men are standing up for him because he's gay. If he wasn't gay, blah, 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 blah. But what I think, one lesson that could be learned, because a lot of women were the ones jumping on that. I think women can learn something from men and understand that men see things in men that women don't see. Men can see bullshit in men that women don't see. And women can see bullshit in women that men don't see. You know, and I don't know a man that thought the story sounded right or thought, you know, anything about that. So, and now I see women saying things like, oh, he still deserves our sympathy. I wish Black people would stop with that dumb shit. Everybody doesn't deserve your sympathy. Everybody doesn't deserve your prayers. No, pray for people who actually need them. There are people dying in the hospital right now. There are kids that need transplants. There's all kinds of horrible shit. Pray for those people, not for somebody like them. He doesn't deserve it. You know, he doesn't deserve it. He deserves whatever punishment he gets. And I don't care about how hard it is being Black, because first of all, he's light skinned. And people always want to say they don't want to play the color thing. And I was never into the color thing. Of course, my family is all different colors. And I'm not light skinned or dark skinned. I'm somewhere in the middle. But light skinned people do get privileges a lot of times over dark skinned people in this country, even in the record industry. Like, if another person looks like Nicki Minaj, they all look alike. Nicki Minaj, I like Cardi B. Cardi B's talented, but look same look. You got Sweetie and Cash Doll, and all these rappers look alike. All these females, light skin, different color wigs. You know, Love Beyonce. But it's like all these people look alike. And then even when you go back into like the movie star days, like Dorothy Dandridge and Lena Horne, they all look alike. Katherine Dunham, they all look damn near white. Then you have Misty Copeland. You know, oh wow, we finally have a black girl in the New York City Ballet or whatever, which the very white ballet company, just very white and boring. And now all of a sudden, black people act like, oh, we did something major because we have a black ballerina in this very white dance company. When black ballerinas have been around, did you guys not know about the Dance Theater of Harlem? The Dance Theater of Harlem is not the only black dance company. You got Philadelphia out of Philly, but the Dance Theater of Harlem is a legendary ballet company that had black ballerinas who were just as qualified, if not more qualified than Misty Copeland, but they would never get accepted by this New York ballet stuff because they can't blend in with the white people. Misty Copeland could. So to me, if you're black but you blend in with white people, that's not the same triumph for me. Like when I saw Kenya Moore win Miss USA when I was a little girl, she was dark skinned, and I always thought she was beautiful. I always thought she's one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. And even now, damn near 50, she's gorgeous. But like she was dark skinned, visibly black, could not pass for anything else, wasn't looking European. When Vanessa Williams won Miss America, she looked like a white woman. You know, my dad told me he was watching that. He thought she was white the whole time. So to me, like, okay, you identify as being black, but you look like a white woman. So if you win, I don't feel like that's a win for black people because you look white, and maybe they only accepted you because you look white. And that doesn't say that there aren't light-skinned people who are talented and deserve what they get, but they were dark-skinned, would they still have that? You know what I'm saying? So again, him complaining about, you know, his light, bright self about, oh, how hard it is being black and being gay. First of all, I don't have sympathy about hearing about gay people complain either. You know why? Because gay men are in a privileged place. They run shit in this country. Like, gay men have money and power in America. Lesbians, not so much. But gay men, they're all up in everything. They own shit. They run shit. They got money. They're good. Okay? People don't like you because you're gay, so what? Okay? People don't like me because whatever reason. Like, so what? You know what I'm saying? Like, just live your life. There's always going to be a reason why somebody doesn't like somebody. So for me, I just don't have a lot of sympathy for all that woe was me type shit, especially if you're winning and you have a successful career and you have money. Then who gives a fuck if people don't like you because you're gay? There's a lot of people who can't get in that industry because they're not gay. How about that? You know what I'm saying? There's gay people who discriminate against straight people. I've seen straight men who've had gay male bosses who were being harassed by them because they weren't gay. So, I mean, it could go all kinds of ways. So to me, I just wasn't like, when it happened and I wasn't sure, but it didn't sound right. I didn't think it was because he was who he was. I didn't think it was because he was black, and I didn't think it was because he was gay. I thought maybe somebody just attacked him. But I really didn't think anything about it at all because I didn't say anything about it. But you all who believe that need to use your critical thinking skills. You need to use your critical thinking skills. You need to learn how to fact check before you start jumping on bandwagons and believing stuff. This was completely detrimental, and that's when I say fuck him, and I don't care what happens to him. They could throw him under the jail, let him get raped in jail. I don't care. Okay. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you saw